Let me just mute everyone here. Perfect, okay. We're going to get started today with a little bit of breathing, but I'm going to show you how to, we're going to do a little experiment. So I want to show you how to do a really poor breathing pattern to start, because I find the contrast is really helpful to know when you're doing something well. So first we're going to just slouch in your chair like this, shrug your shoulders a little bit, and I want you to just try to take a breath in. It's going to be kind of difficult. You might feel some straining in your neck, but it should be pretty hard to expand your rib cage when you do that, when you're in that slouched position with your chin tucked and maybe even jut your chin forward. You'll feel that, and just feel what that feels like for a bit. To pay attention to how much resistance there is. Maybe think about where the air is going. You might feel the air just kind of getting stuck closer to the throat and in the upper parts of the rib cage. So that's not good. We don't want to breathe like this. It's always nice to just see what it feels like if we exaggerate it. And now we'll do a good breathing posture. So let's open up, sit up nice and tall. You can pull your shoulders back and down here. You're gonna try your best not to shrug your shoulders. And we want to start to breathe from the abdomen. So if you look down and you just start to take a breath with your abdomen, you should see your abdomen kind of push out. And then when you breathe out, you should see it fall. And then once you get the hang of that, you can look straight ahead, because that's also going to help you to breathe. So you can just see how much easier it is to take a nice deep breath. I personally find taking a nice nasal breath, so breathing in through the nose really slowly. If you can breathe through your nose, it slows that breath down and you're able to just take a longer inhale as well. You can also pull your chin back a little bit and think of really lengthening your spine. So everyone kind of see the difference there. Obviously, we really exaggerated those movements, but it's good to catch ourselves doing that once in a while, because sometimes we end up in a position where we're a little bit slouched and our chin's slightly forward, and you don't realize how much that has an effect on your breathing until you contrast it. So from here, let's get that nice breathing, good posture. Now let's take a couple deep breaths in. Two more breaths. One more big inhale. And nice big exhale. All right, just keep that nice deep breath going. You're gonna rotate your head from side to side here. All right, and just take your time. Just getting warmed up, so you don't need to move very fast and you don't need to move to the complete end ranges of your capacity. One more time on each side. Good. And then look straight ahead. Now, continue to look straight ahead. Just drop your ear down to one shoulder without raising your shoulder up. So just tilting your head to one side, feeling a nice gentle stretch through the side of the neck here. You can drop your hands by your side if you'd like. You can hold on to the underside of your chair and switch. In this area of your neck, you have a lot of accessory breathing muscles that aid in respiration, that help you to breathe. They're primarily responsible for kind of lifting up the upper rib cage, so we tend to use them when we really need to. You don't really use them on an hour by hour basis, but let's say you're really stressed or anxious, or you're running away from a lion, you're going to be recruiting as much as you can. So these muscles will be called into action, but They're an accessory muscle. They're not designed to do the job of breathing. But in our modern life, we tend to be more stressed and anxious. We tend to have bad posture. So these muscles get overused. That's why a lot of people have a lot of neck tension here too. When you have tension here, it could lead to headaches. It could lead to issues in the shoulder. So you have a lot of blood vessels and nerves that run through these muscles as well. So sometimes it can even cut off the circulation and sensation to the fingertips. And one more time on each side. And this time, if you want, you can even take your hand and place it on top and hold. You can hold onto the underside of your seat. Good, and relax. Just move the shoulder around, let your head return back to center. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So remember to just kind of sit up tall, pull your chin back, and then drop your shoulder. And if you'd like, you can take your hand, place it on top of your head. I'm not really pulling down hard, I'm just almost relaxing my arm, because the weight of my arm is usually enough to give me the pressure that I'd like. And like I said, you can drop this shoulder down. And here too, like the weight of my arm is enough to just keep the shoulder anchored down a little bit. But you can also hold on to your seat if you'd like. One more big breath. Let's release, slowly move the shoulder around. Let the head come back. Good. All right. Chin back. We're going to bring the chin down into the chest. And I want your head to be really heavy here. So try to let go of the weight of your head. Once you feel like you've done that, you can start to pan your head from side to side. Feel those muscles that attach to the base of the skull and the upper vertebrae of your neck. You might even feel this into your shoulder blades. Really relax the head there. Okay, stay in the middle for a bit, still letting the head come down, and we'll just hang out here. Deep breaths. Okay, slowly let your head return. Take your time as you exit. Good. Okay, again, chin comes back, sitting up nice and tall. We'll take the hands and put them right on the breastbone, the sternum. Push in and pull down as you lift your chin up. So you should feel that gentle stretch on your throat. Just pause here for a couple seconds and then come back. And then you can play with some angles. So instead of looking straight up, maybe look up to the corner of the room. Always pulling your hands in the opposite direction. Now we're really getting into those accessory breathing muscles. And you can play around with it. So you can like rotate your head and then tilt back. And just explore the movement, see how you can stretch out the various muscles that live in the front of your neck. Right? You can think of keeping your tongue glued to the top of your mouth, maybe lifting your bottom lip up a little bit higher, right? Positioning your jaw in different ways. But just experiment, try it with and without. And then you'll get to know how each of the little subtle movements that you do actually have an impact on these muscles in your neck. Just do that one more time. Just do whatever you feel like you need. And slowly come back. Very nice. Okay, relax the shoulders, chin back, sit up nice and tall. And we'll do some gentle rotations with the head. Take your time. You can keep your eyes open or closed. And continuing to take those nice abdominal breaths. Expand your rib cage, taking the load off of these accessory breathing muscles. Good. Let's change directions now. And for those who are just joining into the class too, later on we're going to need a ball of some sort to roll the feet out of. You can use a water bottle if you don't have a ball. And you may need a stool, like a step stool or some yoga block, something to prop your hands up onto. Very nice. Let's continue those rotations into the shoulders now. So look straight ahead and we'll do some shoulder rotations. Choose a direction. I'm just thinking of getting blood flow, some warmth and heat into the area, some lubrication through the joints. Good, and change directions. And good. You can place one hand on your thigh, the other hand's gonna come across, and we're gonna do these kind of like horizontal swipes back and forth. Just be mindful of your environment. Coming across and opening up. So you can think of giving yourself like a one-handed hug and then opening up your chest. So you do want to feel a little stretch through like your biceps and your pecs as you come back here. Just get some movement through the arms and shoulders. And good, okay. And relax. Let's go to the other side. And feel your rib cage kind of compress as you give yourself a hug, and then open up as you swing your arms back. And one more time, using a little momentum here. Very nice. Okay, go back to your other hand. You can give me a thumbs up here, and we'll, leading with the thumb, you're going to draw some figure eights. So start small. Really try to rotate from the shoulder. So try your best not to just use your wrist here. Really want to move the shoulder joint. And as you get more and more comfortable with the movement, you can make that figure eight a little larger. So you can start to bring it across your body and behind on the same side. Good, one more time. And relax. Just let some blood flow return to your fingertips there. You can place that hand on your lap or just keep it by your side. Thumbs up on the other side. And we're gonna draw the figure eight, leading with the thumb. Roll from the shoulder. You can see my torso is moving here too. It's gonna be really dynamic with this movement. Right. Check in with your breath every so often. Make that figure eight larger and larger. Good, let's do that one more time. Really rotating the shoulder as you move. Very nice. Okay, shake it out. We're gonna imagine there's a rope here and we're gonna climb. So we're pulling down. I like to think of pulling the rope to my belly button. My non-existent belly button. Right, you're pulling down. Think of keeping the elbows close to your body. I like to drive my elbows down towards the hip. And you'll notice that when I do that, my shoulders will tilt from side to side. I'm doing these little side crunches here. Right, that's gonna help us recruit muscles like the lats and the obliques and the QL. These are all muscles that are involved with pulling and rotation. So that it's really not just the rotator cuff muscles and the shoulders that are doing the work. We're recruiting a lot of these larger trunk muscles to help us. Good. Okay, now we're gonna imagine there's a rope from me and you, and we're gonna pull like this. You see that rotation there. So again, you're not just moving your arms like this, you're rotating, pulling the elbow back, turning the torso. You can almost think of trying to get your elbow to touch your tailbone behind your back. That's a big exaggeration, but that's the direction that your elbow is moving in. Keep your elbows close to your torso. Try not to flare them out like this. Keep them nice and tight towards your body. And good. Let's get the arms by the side. Take a deep breath in. You can fold forward on the exhale. Again, push the feet into the ground. Deep breath in. And fold forward. 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale, come down. 1 more. And you can just let the arms fall here. You don't have to fold forward. Good, okay. Very nice. Let's go back into those rotations. We can make them a little bit larger now. Focus on stretching a little bit more. Explore the end ranges of each movement in each direction. Now that you're nice and warmed up. Really think of squeezing the shoulder blades together behind your back. Good, let's change directions. Really lift those shoulders up towards your ears, and then when you're coming down, push them down towards the floor. Squeeze. Very nice, okay. Take one hand, I'm gonna just swing the arm back and forth. You can be pretty dynamic here. You can use some momentum. Be really lazy with the arm. If you have issues with your shoulders, you can obviously be a lot more controlled with this movement, but if you're feeling comfortable, just let that arm flop back and forth. Good, let's switch sides. As the weather gets cooler too, you want to make sure that you're warming up more than usual, because in the summer we've kind of preheated ourselves, so our muscles are a lot more dynamic and warm and ready for movement. But as it gets really cold, our muscles start to tense up a little bit more, so we need a little bit more warm up before we do anything intense, anything that could injure us. And good, go back to the other side. Give me a thumbs up. Let's start with our little figure 8 here. Small rotations to start. Think of moving from the shoulder joint. You can use your chest here, rotate your spine, good. And you can start to make this movement a little bigger and bigger each time. One more. And good. Relax the arm. Same thing on the other side. So thumbs up, leading with the thumb. Start with a little figure 8. Make sure the joint at the shoulder is moving, so it's not just the wrist. And then you can start to make this movement larger and larger. Nice deep breaths. All right, just a few more times. And good. Alrighty, let's climb this rope here. Pulling down towards your belly button, bringing your elbows close to your hip, and we're compressing. right? As one side lengthens, the other side is compressing. You're moving back and forth. Good, let's do a nice pull now. So you're pulling towards you. Driving the elbows backwards, keeping the elbows close to the body, and really focusing on the rotation of the torso. And you're pulling towards you. Pull. And good. Hands by your side, deep breath in. And exhale, fold forward. Let your head dangle here. Push your feet into the ground, lift up. And exhale, fold forward. Again, 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. This time stay seated, just let your arms fall to your side. Very good, okay. We've been moving our spines a lot, but we're gonna do a little bit more. So hands on top of your knees, we'll do some gentle cat-cow. So tuck your chin down into your chest. If you had a tail, you're gonna think of rolling onto your tailbone, like you're trying to sit right on top of your tail. Good, and then we're gonna do the opposite. You're gonna push your abdomen forward, lift your chest up, elevate your chin, really lengthen the entire anterior or the front side of your torso. Take a nice deep inhale. And then go back down. So we're moving very slow here. And you're focusing on moving every segment of your spine. All right, just in the neck alone, you have 7 vertebrae. In the middle, from your neck down to about halfway through your torso, you have your thoracic spine. That's the part of your spine that your rib cage attaches to. You have 12 vertebrae there. You also have 12 ribs, so that's convenient. Then you have your lumbar spine, that's the lower part of your spine. You got 5 of those. And then you have a sacrum. There's technically 5, but they're fused, so it kind of acts as one joint. And then you have a coccyx, your tailbone. So each of these sections has the capacity for movement. So we want to make sure that we're moving each and every joint, because there's muscles that live there, there's tendons, there's ligaments, and we want to make sure that each of these sections are getting a little bit of blood flow. So just kind of visualize your spine as you're moving through. Good. And come back. Okay, this time you're going to take your forearm and place it on your lap like this. With your free hand, you're going to reach up towards the ceiling and then reach down towards the outside of your ankle, and just go back and forth. Look at your hand. Do that a few more times. And good. Let's switch to the other side. You can sit up and just take a break if you need to. And forearm across your lap. And reach up and down. If you can touch your ankle, go for it. You can touch the floor, you can go for that too. But you're really opening up your chest here. Another great way to move the spine. And good. All right, come up to a seated position. Use your feet, press it into the ground to come up. And we're gonna reach overhead like this, nice lateral stretch. You wanna feel the stretch over top of your rib cage here. And let's switch. And we're gonna add a little bit of breathing to this. So go back to the starting side. We're gonna hold. So see if you can brace yourself somewhere. Maybe you might hold onto the leg of your chair, or just place your hand on your hip. Okay, take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, reach a little further in the same direction. 2 more. Inhale. Feel that rib cage expand. Exhale, reach a little further. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Come back. Take your time. And I always like to just do some little side to side movements here. Get a nice stretch. And same thing on the other side. Feel the stretch over top of your rib cage. You're going to inhale. Create more space between each rib. Exhale. Reach a little further. Again, now with your inhale, you're creating more space between each rib. Exhale, reach a little further. Just a tiny bit. It's very incremental. And 1 more time. And reach. Good. Bring your arm back. Good. And then just a little bit of side to side movement here. Good. Shake it out. And we're going to go back to that breathing, right? So making sure we have this nice tall upright torso, looking straight ahead. And let's just take a couple deep breaths. We're going to practice breathing into the abdomen, practice expanding the rib cage outwards in all directions. All right, 1 more time. And relax. Very good. Okay. I'm going to show you a hip flexor stretch. But it's funny because we do a lot of this class in the seated position. So our hips are often in this kind of flexed position. But I've mentioned in the past that our hips are like a ball and socket joint. So it has the capacity to move in many different directions. So I think it's important that we try to get our hips in the opposite direction. Right now we have it flexed. We're going to try to get the hips backwards. So I'll show you what to do if you want to do it from seated, and then I'll show you what to do from standing. So if you're seated, you kind of have to get to the edge of your chair on one side, here, the long chair, and you have to almost hang a hip off of the chair. So just be careful when you're doing this. That leg is going to come backwards now, right? And what we want to do is start to feel a stretch through the hip here. You might feel it into your quads as well, into the thigh. You can lean back ever so slightly and just feel that hip open up. Okay, so just hold that. If you feel comfortable seated, you can do that. Now, if you're standing, you may need to hold onto the wall or just be somewhere close by. You're gonna go into a lunge stance here. So one foot's gonna come backwards, the other one's forward. And already just this position is great because we're used to having our hips in this flex position. We're gonna try to get it backwards. Notice my heel is elevated here. Hold on to something just so we can get balance out of the equation here and really just focus on the stretch. So you're trying to lengthen the hip. The trickiest part about this one is the orientation of the pelvis. So you want to think of tucking your tail underneath you like a cowering dog. So here you're tucking the tail. We're just going to hold that. When you tuck your tail, you should start to feel the stretch kind of intensify a little bit further. And we'll just breathe. So whether you're doing it off the edge of your chair here or like this, that's fine. And we're just going to hold it and breathe. Right? If we spend too much time seated, these hip flexors become shortened. Okay, and we want to make sure that we lengthen them occasionally. Good. Okay, and then just ease out of that. Switch to the other side. So you can just bring the other leg backwards if you're standing, or scooch over to the other side of your chair and then bring the leg back like that. Yeah. The problem if you're always seated is these hip flexor muscles get really tight and short. So you have two choices when you're standing. You can stand like this, which is not ideal, or we tend to stand with some compensation. So that's why opening up the hips, getting them to go in the opposite direction is going to help with posture, but it also helps us access large muscles in the body like the glutes and the hamstrings, right? Very powerful muscle groups. They're useful when you're walking, right? When you're going up the stairs, when you're squatting, it's very important. But if your hip flexors are always tight, it's really hard to use these muscles. And we end up using muscles like across the lower back. We end up overusing our calves, which can also lead to foot problems too. So just by opening up the hips like this, it gives us a little bit more access to use these larger muscle groups to do the job that they're supposed to do, like walking. So this is a good stretch to do before going on a walk so that it makes it easier to access the glutes and hamstrings, right? Remember, we're tucking the tail here. Very good. Okay. All right, we can come back to a seated position. You can stay standing if you want. And we're just going to draw little circles in the ground. So just choose a leg to start with, and you're just going to draw little circles in the ground like this. Right? My big toe is down. You can also do this from standing if you'd like. Up to you. Okay, change direction. So same leg, just moving the foot in the other direction, getting rotation through the hip. Beautiful. Let's switch sides. Other leg now. Just a light touch with your foot. And moving your leg, rotating it on the ground. Good. Change direction. So you're using that same leg. And very nice. Go back to the other leg now. Now we're going to lift the leg up and we'll do some circles that way. So again, if you're standing, you can also play around with that too. Up to you. Change directions. Same leg, change directions. You really feel that hip flexor working hard here. That was the muscle we were stretching earlier. And good. Okay, give that hip a nice break. We'll go to the other side. So again, standing or seated. Change directions, same leg. You can always put your foot down between each rotation to give your leg a little break. And good, relax. Very nice. So if you have a footstool or a bolster here or some yoga blocks, this is a good time to pull them out. We're gonna go into a nice wide stance. Make sure you push your knees out like this. And you're gonna start to try to straighten out the legs a little bit. So you want your knees not to be completely straight, but not to be bent at 90 degrees. So somewhere in between. Keep your back straight, chest proud, and we're gonna reach down towards the floor. Now some people may be able to cut right down and put their fingertips on the ground or get their palms down. If that feels far away, you can always use your stools or your yoga blocks here and prop your hands up onto that. And just hold. We're going to just hold this position. You can rock from side to side. If you don't have either of these as an option, you can prop your elbows up onto your thighs like this and keep your back straight. Right? So just rest your elbows on your thighs and you kind of shift your weight back and forth here. Now remember, we want to use our legs to help us come up. So you're going to press the soles of your feet into the ground to come back up. Take a moment here and just breathe. And whenever you're ready, we're going to hinge forward again. So I love yoga blocks for this because you can change how low you want to go. You have 3 options. And if you find that's too low, you can flip the blocks up onto the side and hold there. If you find that's still hard, you can go to the taller option. So that's a nice tool that you can use. But like I said, rest your elbows on your thighs. You can even rest your hands on your thighs if that's easier. Shift your weight from side to side. You can even use your hands, your elbows to kind of push on the inside of your thigh to open up your hip further. And good. Okay, push your feet into the ground to come back up. Very nice. Okay, we'll go back into the hip flexor stretch. So if you're seated, you're gonna hang one hip off of the seat, bring your leg back, and just get a nice stretch. You can still think of tucking your tail here, or you can do it from standing like this. So nice lunge stance. So this is good. You can do this at your countertop. Just spend time opening up your hips. And put your hands on your hips, hold on, and you're tucking your tail. So you had a tail, you're trying to push it underneath your hips. You're getting a nice stretch. If you find that's a little bit too much, bring your legs in. If you find you can go a little further, step back even further. And we're going to take nice, deep breaths here. This is something I find myself doing a lot if I'm at an airport, just waiting. You'll see a lot of people sitting and waiting, but you're going to be sitting on a plane for a long time. So you want to try to do the opposite for a little bit. Good. Okay, let's switch. Bring that leg in. And other leg, bring it back. I try to have a little bit of width between my legs here so that I'm not walking the tightrope. It's really hard to balance like that. So we want to create a little space to have a good base of support. And again, you're tucking your tail, keeping your torso upright, and taking those nice deep breaths. You may notice that with each deep inhale that you do, you'll feel that stretch get a little bit more intense. Right? Your diaphragm and your hip flexors actually connect and touch each other. So whenever you're breathing in, you may feel that tugging on your hip flexor. You can also play around, maybe even bringing up that arm. You might feel some length through your torso and even into your hip here. Good, okay, and then come back. Good. So you can do it from standing if you'd like, or you can do it from seated. Hold on to something for support. You're gonna draw a little circle on the ground. So most of my weight is on one leg right now, and I'm drawing with the other foot. Change direction, so same foot. It doesn't have to be a gigantic circle, just a little circle. Good. Okay, relax. Let's switch to the other side. Hold on to your chair if you need to for some support, or your wall. With a light touch, you're going to draw some circles. Change directions. Good work. Yeah. Now let's go back to the other side. And again, you can do this from seated. Hold on. You're going to do some hip circles. You can always put your foot down between each rotation. So bring it in and around. In and around. One more. Good. Let's go the other way. So you're going to go out first and then bring it in. Notice I just put my foot down between each rotation just so I can reestablish my balance. And good. Your hips will really feel it there, the one that's supporting you. Just shake it out. So the same thing on the other side. Hold on to something if you need support. But if you want to challenge your balance a little bit, try to go hands free. It doesn't have to be a gigantic rotation. Good, let's go the other way. I'm really getting the hip joint to move here. Very nice. Okay, shake that out. Find your seat again. We're going to do our seated good morning. So wide stance, push the knees out, take a little step away. Maybe you want to try a little bit further this time. Okay, use your stool if you need to. Keep your back straight, hinge from your hips. You can reach down towards your blocks or the stool or the floor, or place your hands or your elbows on your thighs. Take some nice deep expansive breaths. Remember to breathe into the belly here. You can wiggle from side to side if you'd like. Push your feet into the ground. So really use your legs here to bring yourself back up. Very good. Very nice. Let's get rid of the blocks. Now let's just do some ankle movements. So let's start with some lifts of the toes. So you're lifting your feet up, keeping your heels on the ground. Just gonna warm up the ankles. And we have a lot of endurance muscles here, so we tend to do high repetition for these exercises to train endurance. Good, now heels up. When you're lifting your heels up, try to keep your toes on the ground. You want to see the joints of the toes bending here. So try not to pop up onto the top of your toes like a ballerina. You actually want to move the joints of the toes. Heels up. Good, now you're gonna roll to the outside edges of your feet so that your soles will face each other. You'll notice that your knees want to fall open, so you can block your knees from falling open here, and just focus on the movement of your ankles. And now we'll go the other direction, much harder. You'll notice that your knees want to buckle in towards each other, so you can take your hands to block. Sometimes I just like to make two fists and put them there to block too. It's gonna be much harder to lift up the outer edges of your feet. That's okay. You'll feel your big toe kind of press into the ground there. That's gonna help you engage your arches. Good. Shoot one leg out. We're gonna do some rotations now. Change directions. Good. And relax. Same thing on the other side. Start with these nice ankle rotations. Good. And change directions. Very nice. Okay, and relax. Now, if you have a ball, you're going to grab your ball and place it underneath one foot. You can do this from standing or seated. And I just want you to roll the ball out underneath your foot, giving your foot a nice massage. So just put as much weight as you feel like you want to. Right, if it feels painful, back off. If you don't have a ball, you can take a water bottle, place it sideways, and roll your foot up like that too. Make sure that you get to your heel. Make sure you're getting right up into your toes too. And try not to follow just the same path over and over again. Try to get the entire sole of your foot. All right, sometimes what I like to do here is I'll come and put my heel down behind the ball and stretch out my toes. I don't know if you can see that here. Turn so you can see. But see how I'm just kind of stretching out my toes on the ball. You can play around with that too. Yeah, just like this. Just play around with that. Now try the other side. A really nice thing to do especially if you're like a fidgety person, you can have a ball underneath your seat, whatever you're doing, and just move your foot over the ball. It's also really good for the knee. You can notice the knee joint is moving quite a bit here too. So yeah, getting up into the heel, making sure you're coating the entire surface of your sole. And then you can always plant your foot down behind the ball and get some nice toe stretches in. I'm using a lacrosse ball. It's a bit of a harder ball, so if you find that's a little too hard for you, you know, a tennis ball has a little bit more give to it. You can play around with that. Good, okay. Now we'll do a little bit of dexterity here. You're going to take the ball, pass it to your other foot, stop it. Pass, stop. pass, stop. And just see if you can go back and forth. If you don't have a ball, you may be able to do it with the water bottle. Roll, stop, roll, stop. So working on your coordination and timing a little bit here, okay? All right, back and forth, so you can go a little faster. Right, you can alternate between doing things like this and then just going back to rolling out the feet. Right, take a break, roll out the feet, pass it to the other side, roll out that foot. Very, very simple tool. This is like the tool I probably use the most. I don't think I leave many places without a ball. If I travel, it's always in my bag. This is a nice, easy tool to play around with. And you can get into most areas of your body with a single ball like this. Very good. Okay, make sure you put that off to somewhere you're not going to trip over. And we'll just do a little bit of deep breathing to cool down, and just remember all of those things we talked about with breathing: our posture, the position of our heads, and breathing deep into the abdomen, expanding the rib cage. And you can breathe at your own pace here. One more time. Alrighty, very nice work, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. I hope everyone has a great start to their week.